characters, incidents, names, and situations used in this story are fictitious. The resemblance to any person living or dead is purely coincidental. The following video contains some horror elements and suitable for a mature audience, 16 plus. This channel and video is not for kids.
Hello friends, I am Aryan and welcome to our channel Midnight Horror Stories, where you get to hear true and scary ghost stories. But before starting the story, all the friends who have come to this channel for the first time, please subscribe to the channel, and if you like the story, then definitely introduce yourself in the comment section. Friends, today's story is of a man from a small village in Morena district of Uttar Pradesh whose name is Nitish. So let's now hear this story from Nitish's point of view. So without taking much time, let's start your story quickly. Hello friends, my name is Nitish and I am from a small village in Morena district of Uttar Pradesh. I am a mechanic by profession and I'm currently working in Morena. The story that I'm going to tell you today is the story of a horrific incident that happened to me, on which I do not even believe that thing actually happened to me. Actually, this is the summer of 2019. At that time, my college was over and I had returned home for a few weeks of vacation. Now it was already a bad condition from the heat, and on top of all the noise of the city made me very restless. But then in the meantime, my mother told me that some has been a long time. Mama's village, you are gone. Go out for a few days. You will like it if the air and water change. I didn't have the slightest desire at first. Going to the village meant the lack of mobile network. And when the mobile will not work, then you will be away from friends and at the same time cut off from your house. If there is a talk, then the voice is cut somewhere, then there is no sound anywhere. Then shout loudly, "Hello, are you listening to me?" Pretend all of this. You won't be able to watch TV, you won't find friends. But then I thought that if my mother has a mind, then let's go to the village on this excuse. They eat the air. Now my mom had packed a lot of my stuff. Also my mother used to make mango pickle very well, which my aunt liked very much. So they had secretly kept that too. Actually, there was a secret talk going on between my aunt and mother, which I came to know later. That is why I am telling you now, that there was a girl in his relationship in Mommy's neighborhood, with whom he had talked about my relationship. But I didn't want to get married just yet. I used to say that I will first get a job, live in the city and then get married. But my mom and dad had a great desire that it would be great if I got married to this girl. They liked that girl very much and my aunt loved it. If I get married there, we will continue to come and go. Because the elder uncle and aunt loved us very much and my siblings also got along well with our people. Now it was my mother and aunt's conspiracy to somehow show this boredom to the girl and the girl would like it. Then she herself will shout and say that I should marry this girl too. Then these people will show favor and get me married. They had such a big conspiracy and I did not even have a clue, and I left from my maternal uncle's house in Belapur village. This train journey was very fun. Sitting by the window and watching the trees rush back in the cool breeze has been my childhood hobby. The train stopped at the station. I looked around, but I didn't see anyone at the station. If mom had given the information, someone would have come. I pulled out the phone. Then he called his uncle and his brother, but the phone was not reached, so I walked towards their village on foot. I came to the stepwell outside their village. Outside the village was a clump of mango, and acacia trees. A little further on, there was a small stepwell in which the girls of the village often filled water or bathed. Troubled by the heat, I sat under the shade of a neem and tried to find the network in the mobile. Then came the sound of splashing. I peeped in. 3 or 4 girls were out of the water. Their hair was soaked, the colorful salwar suit was stuck in the drenched body, and the crackling sounds of laughter were echoing. But then, one of them was different from the rest. Don't laugh too much. It was just shame. There was a pause in his expression, those eyes as if someone had lost something in it. I just kept looking at him. Then I turned my eyes around that if the girls saw me, they would think of me as a loafer. Suddenly, something happened that I hadn't even thought of. 3 wild dogs came out of the bushes and started growling and suddenly ran. The girls started screaming and running away, and all the girls ran towards the village. But the same girl slipped away. I quickly got up and saw something around to kill the dogs and could not see anything anywhere. At that time I plucked a thick branch from the bushes and plucked at those dogs like a caul. There were also stones lying there. I also threw stones. The dogs ran away growling. The girl was sitting on the ground, shivering. She sprained her leg. I went up to her and asked her if she was okay. She just nodded slowly. I asked her, "What is your name?" She said, "Sheila." She looked in my eyes for the first time as if she wanted to say something. She was very scared at this time. I also wanted to stay there for a while. I sat there and slept. I took the bag from him and also took out a samosa and a bottle of water and extended a samosa towards her and started talking to her lightly to correct her upset mind. Eat samosa. A little bit of strength will come. She was hesitant at first, but when I said it again, she took it with a slight smile. She asked me, "Have you come from Delhi?" Hearing this, I said, "No, I've come from Morena to my uncle's place. I'll be here for a few days during the holidays." She sat for a while, then she said, "I must go now. If people see it, they will make up the matter." I gave her, watched it go. She slowly crossed the step well and disappeared behind the bushes. I also left. I went to my uncle's village. The village was small but very quiet. The colorful houses looked beautiful amidst the mud houses. There was greenery in every direction. It really relaxed there. My uncle's house was at the end of the village. There was a large courtyard, and in front of the courtyard was a huge old mango tree. Its branches were bent even lower, like an old man's neck. Looking at that tree felt a little strange, but I didn't pay attention.
My uncle was very happy to see me. My uncle said, "Well done, son. Now stay here for a few days. They will show you the fields, they will walk the puddles, they will eat the mangoes." I smiled. In the evening after dinner, my aunt's daughter Radha and I sat on the cot outside the house and started chatting. She was telling me about the village. I asked if there was any place to visit here. She said, "Yes, there is a puddle a little outside the village where people do not go much now." I wondered why. He just says that the place is a bit mysterious. He spoke on the mysterious word, but I laughed. It was the same place where I was sitting yesterday. The next day at noon, when everyone was resting, I set out alone towards the puddle. There was silence as we came out of the village. Someone was plowing in the distant fields. Mango and mango trees were visible in some places. The weather suddenly cooled down a bit. As we crossed a trail, the puddle was in front. At this moment, he seemed absolutely calm and mysterious. I sat there nearby, took out the mobile, I took some pictures. At that moment, a sweet voice came from behind. "They have come to roam alone." I startled and looked back. Sheila, the same girl from yesterday, was standing. There was a white scarf, light pink suit, open hair, and a little different depth in the eyes. I asked him, "Hey, when did you come? I haven't seen it." She smiled and said, "I just arrived. I just went for a walk." I smiled and said, "Well, the location here is good. Look, there are good photos." She just smiled softly. I asked, "Are you from here?" She said, "Yes, but people don't know me very well." I asked, "Why is that?" She was silent for a moment and then said, "I haven't lived here much before. I still lived with my grandmother." "Okay, I'll see you again." Saying this, she turned and slowly walked towards the fields. I called out, "Hey, listen!" But it was as if she disappeared into thin air. That's what I've been thinking about all the way. Who is that girl and what was she doing alone in the afternoon near the puddle? While eating dinner, Mommy said, "Come tomorrow, son, I will take you to a relative's place. You wouldn't have seen it there. She's a very well-mannered girl." I laughed at him and said, "Mommy, I am not of marriageable age yet." Mommy smiled and said, "That's all we were saying." But Sheila's face was moving in my eyes and a question kept echoing in my mind. Who was that girl and why was there that emptiness in her eyes? She was in my gaze. I was thinking about that now. After dinner, I kept talking to my cousins till late in the night. When I asked Radha about that girl Sheila, she was surprised. She said, "I haven't been to that puddle for a long time. No one goes there much anymore." Nitish Bhaiya, in earlier times, people used to go to the pond to bathe and wash clothes. Now that every house has access to water, who should go there? Now sometimes people come there only for mandap immersion at weddings. And anyway, you hear that something happened there. However, leave it. There are many stories in the village. I didn't think it was right to dig too much. We talked for a long time. Then I said it's too hot. I would sleep on the roof. So the bed was also put on the roof. The others lay down in the rooms. I go to the roof, woke up for. Suddenly, I heard a faint rustling sound from the common window. It's like someone coming down from a tree. I got up and looked through the window. The mango tree was shaking and there was a shadow below. I wasn't scared, but I did feel uneasy. When I woke up the next morning, dewdrops were dripping on the mango leaves from outside the window. The tree was absolutely silent. The shadow I saw last night was probably a dream. My uncle was sitting in the courtyard reading the newspaper. As soon as he saw me, he said, "Let's go to the farm. We'll bring mango pluck for pickle. Wandering around a bit, you will take it." I agreed. On the way to the farm, I saw the same puddle path. Mama said, "Don't go here. There is a forest on that side alone. There have been some accidents here before." Well, you're smart. He left the matter incomplete. I was a little cautious when I listened, but in the corner of my heart, there was a faint longing to see the girl again. In the evening, there was a fair near a temple in the village. Radha and I went there, the pudding ditched completely, the hammock swing, and after a while started returning. I don't know why. I used to think of him again and again. I could see his face in my face. I was wondering what was happening to me. Seeing me lost, she softly said, "Brother, if you have met a girl outside, then be careful. Not every face is what it looks like." I looked at Radha in shock and asked her, "Who are you talking about?" She fell silent. Then she said to him slowly, "Nothing, just get out of here." I didn't sleep early that night. My mind kept thinking about that girl again and again. Her eyes, her pause, the strange sweetness of that tone reminded me again and again. The next morning, I went for a walk alone. Crossing the field along the trail, I had hardly reached the edge of the forest when someone called out from behind, "Hey, you got it again." I was shocked. I was glad to see that it was the same girl. It was the same white salwar suit. There was open hair, but this time there was something untold in her eyes. I smiled and asked her, "Do you live here?" She nodded in the affirmative. "Yes, I live near the forest. Won't you tell me about your family?" She smiled and said, "If need be, kill yourself. You will go." I walked with him for a while. In conversation, he said that he likes to be alone. He often goes near puddles, forests, and mango trees. I asked her, "Tell me, which village do you live in?" He gave an evasive answer. "You know, but what you see isn't always true." His words were confused, but there was a strange comfort in walking with him. When he returned, he said something strange. "If you ever pass by a mango tree at night, don't look at me." I stopped listening to him and asked him why. He smiled and, "Don't look for answers. It is not necessary to know the answer to every question." After that day, he appeared several times. Sometimes near the fields, sometimes towards the pond, sometimes I could see him sitting under a tree in the distance. I was looking for him now. I used to hide from my uncle and go out to the forest every day. Every time she looked at me, she smiled, but her mystery deepened. One day I asked her why she was always alone. "You don't resemble anyone." After a pause, she said, "Sometimes being around someone would make loneliness disappear."
Nope. I sat down beside him. I asked her, "Why don't you open up to me? Are you afraid of me?" "I'm afraid of myself," she said softly. There was something in his tone that went straight to his heart. It's like she is hiding her pain. At night when I mentioned it to Radha again, she got annoyed and said, "Adi Bhaiya, tell you one thing. There are some things in this village which are better if not asked." I said, "Tell me plainly, what do you mean?" She said, "I've never seen the person you are meeting." "That's where I grew up. Who lives in the village, I know very well who not." I laughed and said, "Maybe a new girl has come?" Radha looked at me and said, "Someone who has never left." Radha's words confused me. I didn't know what to do. That night I was broken by a strange knock. When I opened my eyes fell directly on the mango tree from the window. The mango tree was shaking. Then I was filled with awe to see that a shadow came down from the mango and slowly disappeared into the darkness. I panicked. Now there were questions in my mind. Who was that girl? Was he really from the village? And why was he forbidden to come near the mango tree at night? I decided, I'll ask her this time. I'll also ask her name, her house, and what this strange sign means. But maybe I was going to learn a lot that I hadn't been able to prepare. When I woke up the next morning, my aunt was already ready. She told me that Nitish has to go to a place today. I asked Mummy where to go. Component placement. She said, "Oh, just in kinship." I want to go to Ritika's house. You did not meet her. I never got a little bit of it and I requested and said I will rest tomorrow. Mummy will go the day after tomorrow. But Mummy did not listen to me. She said, "Hey, you just look once. Do not talk. We are not there. We will see everything." Mama laughed from behind and said, "Son, do not interrupt your mommy's plan. Otherwise the rotis will get raw."
Now we had to obey and we left for Ritika's house. We reached through a straight mud trail where a beautiful two-storied house stood. There was a tulsi plant on the door, there was an iron mesh on the door, and the fragrance of turmeric spices coming from inside was telling that good dishes are being made. Just then Ritika came to the door. She was a simple and beautiful girl. She was wearing a red suit, she had a small bindi on her forehead and coconut oil in her hair. She said hello to Mami. Mami complimented him. "Hey daughter, you have become brighter." Mami grabbed my hand and said, "This is Nitish, my dearest nephew." I said hello hesitantly. Ritika gave a slight smile and said, "Come in." Ritika's mother said, "Fenugreek parathas, curd and mango pickle." While eating the paratha, my eyes kept going to Ritika's eyes again and again. There was something about them as if there was a question or hope. When Mami went into the kitchen, Ritika came to me and said, "Do you like the village?" I said, "Yes, very much. And that is the clump area near the step well. There is a lot of peace there." He asked the checkpoint. And he asked, "Did you go there?" I said, "Yes, I went yesterday afternoon." She bowed her head, as if she wanted to say something but stopped. I looked at her carefully and there was a moment's look of concern in Ritika's eyes. I understood something. Why did I feel all the time that everyone was hiding something? After all, why are you not telling openly? I also started to get a little angry. We were very welcomed. So many things were made in the food that we ourselves did not understand what to eat and what not to eat. At the moment, it was certain that the behavior of those people was very good, which is the case of very few people. You rarely meet such good people. Everyone was speaking very lovingly. There was also softness in him, and there was a lot of warmth in the guests. I was impressed by them, and with him, Ritika was also very good. There was no adulteration in her natural beauty. Whatever she was real. When we were about to come back from there, Ritika's mother gave me clothes and money as a gift, so I refused very much. But while holding the box of sweets to Mami, she said, "When Nitish has a relation, take care of us also." Then we went home from there. On the way, Mami started saying, "How did Ritika feel?" I said, "It's good, it's gracious." Mami laughed at this and said, "Only good, son. You know her, then it will be a thing. I have done something about it." He didn't say anything, but Sheila's eyes were still wandering in my mind. Her wet face, trembling lips, and her silence seemed to churn my mind. It seemed as if there was a deep secret hidden within him. I had fallen asleep early in the night, and then I had a strange dream that I was standing near that same step well and Sheila was calling me. "Nitish, come here to me. I am standing under this mango tree." I go closer, but she suddenly disappears. And then a cold wind blows, the branches of the trees shake, and a dark face looks at me. I woke up sweating. In the morning, I met Uncle Ramdeen, an old neighbor of Mama. I asked in the midst of light-hearted talk, "Uncle, the stepwell here is very beautiful. Who goes here to bathe?" Uncle thought of something. Then he said, "Now the new generation is entangled in other things. Who goes there? At first there was often a girl. I don't know what her name was." Yes, I remembered. Sheila was. Sheila. I startled. What did Sheila say? The uncle took a cold breath and said, "Yes, son, was a very sweet girl." But after saying this, he left the matter incomplete. I watched curiously. Uncle said, "Now my son can't tell me the whole thing. Some things remain buried in the village. Yes, don't go there too alone." Leaving the matter unfinished, he got up and left. I got angry again. Even the people of the village do not even talk about it. I came and asked Mami, "Mami, was there a girl named Sheila here?" Mami paused a little at the question. Then she said, "Why are you asking?" I said, "I met a girl near the stepwell while coming here. She told me her name was Sheila." Hearing this, there was a sudden silence on Mami's face. She was absolutely. She got upset with it and started protesting sharply, saying, "Sheila, son, she must have been someone else. There are many new people in the village now. Don't think too much." She ended the matter there. There is a special thing about the village. All work is stopped here as soon as the evening falls. People quickly eat and drink and fall asleep. Their case is different from the city. In the city, people stay awake till 12 o'clock in the night. I myself had a habit of staying awake late night, but everyone goes to bed early here. I also lay down in the room. but I couldn't fall asleep quickly. That's why I used to look at the mobile and so on. That evening, Mommy said, let's go to Nitish's farm. There is also a place of God on the way. I got ready. There was a sweet smell of earthiness in the air, and the sun was about to set in a little while. As soon as I left the house, I saw a mango tree. Its branches were bent. The soil below was darkened with berries. I saw no one sitting under the tree. No cows, no children, no elderly. While I remember my childhood, this was the place where the people of the village used to chop pie in the evening. I have a mother. I asked, it's a big shade here. Why doesn't anyone sit here now? I saw that she was a little embarrassed by this. Mommy said without looking, that's how people focus on their work now. Who has had the time? Those who come and sit here and those who are empty, they keep looking at mobiles. Boys are kids, they play cricket. But there was something to hide in his tone. I saw 4 children building houses out of mud not far from there. I sat there. He smiled and asked, hey little Mia, what are you making? A child said, my brother is building a house, but he doesn't sit here. Why did you sit down? I said, why the bhai? The shade of the tree is good. Then the other child said softly, here the witch sits, brother, the common witch. I laughed. He, what's that? You hear horror stories, don't you? You are afraid of him. But there was fear of truth in the innocence of his face. A girl said, Mommy, there is a shadow of a girl under this tree. Seeing these things of mine, Mommy got angry and scolded and said, Nitish, if you want to come with me, then let's get late. Otherwise, then this is it. Keep doing gimmicks. It's all nonsense and nothing else. Don't pay attention to what they say. There's a lot to be said in the village, but not all is the truth. I stopped the matter there. But now a jaunt was forming in my mind. Sheila, that stepwell, her eyes, her vanishing gait, and now this mango tree. Maybe it was all interconnected. When I lay down at night, I also remembered something spent with Ritika. But Sheila's face came out of those memories every time. Suddenly there was a movement outside the window. I put my ear to it. Someone knocks at the window slowly. I slowly went to the window and saw no one there. But the shadow of the mango tree was moving towards the field in front. It's like someone is sitting and watching me. The next morning I went to the same mango tree. Some berries had fallen underneath. I picked one up. There were deep marks of someone's nails on it. It's like someone has eaten half and then thrown away. And in the place where I was sitting yesterday, there were footprints of a woman on the soil which were of inverted feet. I was very scared to see all this. Mommy was very talkative. As soon as he woke up in the morning, the grumbling began. Hey, Bangsi's housewife did not bring milk even today. God is the owner of this village. I got up from the cot and saw that my uncle had gone to the farm. Radha was doing household chores. Still, Mami Radha was being scolded for a small mistake. Oh my God, how will this dhingdi survive? It's grown so much and nothing works. If she reaches her in-law's house, she will not be able to give 2 rotis to anyone. Seekh le chori, abhi time hai, kuch baat regret karegi. And Marmar Mami started sorting the dal with pallu on her head. Just then Ritika's mother was seen coming to the veranda. He had a bag on his shoulder, there was a vegetable in his hand, and a wop on his lips. The thing was that they had a village rapport. There was a relationship, and there was also a friend. That's why they used to have a laugh with each other. They also used to come and see each other. She said to Mami, Badi aayi Mami ji, protect your nephew from the village girls, otherwise someone will get wrapped up. Mami laughed. Hey, what are the little girls? The boy is sitting on the palm. I was listening to these things while drinking tea inside and thinking to myself, how many rumors were spreading in the village? They fly quickly. Now Ritika started coming every day. Sometimes she would bring pudding and sometimes she would bring mango leaves. Mami smiled and teased him and said, look, he started rehearsing to become a deaf. Ritika would look at me blushingly and I would just smile. We sat on the veranda and talked. The village, school, city, our dreams, nothing but talking. One day Ritika asked, Nitish, how long will you stay here? I started thinking about this. I didn't know how long I had to stay here because I told you for 8 days. But I got a call from my mother asking me to stay until my aunt told me, so I wasn't sure. I said, I don't know. I'm here until my aunt lets me go. She said softly, then don't leave the village early. I looked at his face, listening to him. He was embarrassed. It was an initiative on his part. She was attracted to me. In the evening, the elder sitting on the chopal used to tell stories while smoking hookah. There was a time when only lanterns were lit in the village and a girl was seen in the same light. Kids with upside-down scares would come close to each other, and an old Amma would say, "Take the name of Rama. Everyone will be saved." The child sitting next to him asks his Baba, "Baba, is a witch real?" Baba patted his neck and said, "Son, whoever is afraid, he believes everything to be true." The next day, Ritika came to our house. Mami deliberately left him with me. She said, "We came to see Sonu's sister. She has been ill for a long time. You two talk." Having said this, they have left. The village looks a bit strange today. The wind is also heavy. It's a suffocation. While we were talking, there was a loud noise outside. We both were startled. I parked the car, went out. The door was open on its own. Ritika also came after him. She said, "I just closed the door. How did it open?" Ritika trembled and said, "Nitish, I saw a shadow outside. I just saw it going towards the mango tree." We were both frightened by this incident. Soon after, Mom arrived. I told her the incident that was very nervous. She said, "Beware, do not go under that mango tree even after forgetting." I asked, "Mommy, what are you afraid of?" She frowned a bone. "Do you need to know everything? Whatever it is, believe it somewhere. The only drawback of you educated people is that you start arguing about everything. If some things are open, then the house is ruined. Shut up now." I didn't understand and did not like Mommy's words. "Hey, what is this that the elders are saying? Listen silently. Hey, if there's anything, tell him. What's the point? Isn't it? No one will say anything clearly. No, they will keep everything hidden. It is also the nature of the villages that even if the children become old, they continue to consider them as children. And look at the small cities. Children take full responsibility. And that night I knocked on the window again. There was no one but a peep. A girl in a white dress was standing under a mango tree. The next morning, Mommy told her that Ritika's grandmother was not feeling well. "You have to go see them." When she was leaving, he said, "You also go." I also went with them. When I came out, the women of the village were talking in wails. An old aunt named Pano auntie. They were in a lot of waves. She laughed and said to Mommy, "Hey, Radha's mother, now there is no need to find a daughter-in-law, Ritika Bauria." So that's for sure. Mommy smiled. Soon we reached Ritika's house. I saw Ritika standing at the gate waiting. I noticed that there was a slight look of trouble on his face. I went up to him and asked, "Is everything okay?" People have started talking too much, and tonight Grandma has had some dreams. Ritika dragged me inside. Her grandmother was lying on a cot in the corner of the house. His eyes were half open, but she was conscious. He grabbed my hand and said softly, "Son, stay away from that mango tree." Shocked. "Sheila, who?" Grandma's breathing became heavy. "People say that Sheila died by drowning in the stepwell. This is wrong. Sheila was not immersed in the stepwell. He was killed." Her friends had told her that she had become a witch. Since then, she lives on a mango tree and roams all over the village. I looked at Ritika. His face was pale with fear. I said to him, "Why are you spoiling your mind in these barefoot things? And why are you afraid? A soul cannot harm anyone." We see Ritika's grandmother returned. In the evening, I sat at my aunt's house. Two women from the locality had come to Kamlesh Kaki and Kashi Fufi. Kamlesh Kaki started saying as soon as she came, "Mamiji, you should prepare for the engagement. The pair of Ritika and Nitish has been made by Rab only. She looks so cute." Kashi Fufi said, "Save me from that tree. Mamaji's nephew's complexion has brightened. Don't let anyone catch sight." Everyone laughed. Mami quipped, "Even if you look at it, only a mango wala saw is effective." The joke averted all the talk into laughter, but my mind restless. It was done. My mind was racing towards that stepwell. I wanted to go there, but I didn't. The whole day passed and the night came, but I couldn't sleep at night. Turning on the bed, my attention suddenly turned to a clump of people and mango. Everything was clearly visible in the moonlight, but it was dark on the side of the stepwell, absolutely dark. I got up quietly. He got dressed and left the house without waking anyone up. As I approached the tree, the wind felt heavy. Suddenly, I heard someone humming in my ears. By slow degrees, someone was singing. I froze. There was something under the tree. When I bent over, it was an old green broken bangle. I picked it up and then there was a loud sound. "Don't touch him." I turned around in shock, but to my surprise, there was no one there. I ran towards the house. There was anger inside. That Mommy screamed, "Where did you go? I forbade you, didn't you? She's trapping you in her clutches. Don't you understand?" I asked who was Mommy Sheila. He did not give the right answer but turned around and said that whoever is that, he did not survive after falling into the clutches of the common witch. There was a knock on the door at around 6 in the morning. Mommy wondered who could be so early in the morning. He opened the door and saw Ritika's grandmother standing there. Their clothes were matted. There was fear in his eyes and his hands were trembling. As soon as she came, she said to Mommy, Ritika had come here. That's why she has fallen into the trap of that witch. She has come into Ritika's body and is harassing her. We didn't understand everything. Now that the wedding was being arranged, the guests had also started coming. Because my mummy's maternal uncle and mummy's wish, so everyone had decided that my engagement should be done from here and the marriage should be from my house to the city. Dadi took Mami along and both of them went to take Ritika to Ojha. During morning tea, Mama's elder brother, my eldest maternal uncle whom we call Bade Babuji, they came from the city to the village. Radhika Bhaiya, the wife of Mama's son Raja Bhaiya, who was very fast. Radhika Bhabi laughed as soon as she arrived. Hey Nitish ji, as soon as the wind of the village hits Ritika's house, the affair has increased. Is anything cooked? I smiled and said, not cooked, it's being cooked. I was now thinking every day about the girl who was neither completely my own nor seemed alien. Every day he would be seen somewhere, sitting among the mango trees near the puddle, or sometimes just standing far away she would watch me. Her mysteriousness seemed fascinating to me. In the meantime, I got a call from the king from the city. King was my closest friend from college. He was flirtish, talkative and very inquisitive. I told him in jest, if you want real peace, my uncle's village, come on. Stay for 2 days, eat mangoes, bathe in puddle and take freshness. The king immediate he said, brother, I am leaving today, the wind is pulling the village. And by evening he arrived. I picked him up from the station on my bike and brought him to the village. As soon as he reached the village, he was in full enthusiasm. Abbe, this is your village. Wow, peace, greenery and mango tree. From above, what's the matter? We both met Mama in the courtyard, ate food and lay on the cot till late night reminiscing. The king said, yes, the girl you keep saying is mysterious. Is the puddle real or your whim? I smiled, see for yourself tomorrow. The next day in the afternoon, we both went to the puddle. I knew I'd find her there somewhere. As soon as we reached the edge of the puddle, the air became calm. Some birds were flying in the distance. The surface of the water was as clear and steady as a mirror. And then came that girl, Sheila, white scarf, open hair, the same cool glow, even in the sun. She was standing on a deserted edge of the puddle, looking away. The king saw her and whispered, that's really beautiful, man. You were right, I told him in a stern tone. King, don't be kidding. That's weird. It's something different. My mean is that he is a soul. People call her a witch. I told you that you make reels on Instagram. If something can happen to you, you can go viral. Now listen, I am going to get engaged. You know I didn't have this affair before, did I? I will raise it now. So don't fall into this trap either. Make a couple of reels of your own. If there is any loss, it will be my responsibility. He said, okay man, why are you afraid? You won't have any responsibility. I have told my house that I have come of my own free will. No one called me. I explained it to him, but
The king was not the one who stopped talking. We went closer. The girl looked at me and smiled and then looked at the king. The king looked at her and said, oh ma'am, such a beautiful face and so lonely. Let's go downtown. There will be a line of followers for you. I pulled his hand. The king shut it all up. But the girl just kept smiling. There was neither laughter nor anger in his smile. There was just a pause, as if she understood everything. The king laughed. The girl said again, okay, I'll go. No one should say anything. And he slowly walked towards the puddle. She fell behind the trees and disappeared. The king stared at him. We both returned. But there was a lot of unease in my mind. The king made fun of me. Abhi bhaiya, you are feeling tensed as if he is a soul. I didn't say anything, but my heart was heavy with fear. After dinner, we both sat on the cot. The king said, Bhaiya, I am going for a walk. I want to see a mango tree. I have heard great stories. I have to expose everyone today. And look how I make videos that open the bowl. Keep watching. It's in the village. There is a lot of superstition and rumor. Anyone who looks at it talks about a ghost witch. If you show the truth, then nothing will come out. I stopped him. Don't go near mangoes at night. He had refused. Especially at night, the king started making fun of me. अबे तेरी engagement होने वाली है रितिका से और इश्क लड़ा रहा है इससे. This is your girlfriend and you obey her. It's giving him so much emotion. I'll see what's in it. And he left without listening. About an hour later, he still didn't return. I thought I might have been talking to a boy from the village, but it was 11 p.m. There was silence in the village. I asked my uncle, did you see the king? Otherwise, son, did he come out at this time? Now I panicked.
When I told my uncle the whole thing, they also started worrying and scolded me why I did not tell them earlier. My uncle and 2 villagers came out with torches. We searched everywhere for puddle, fields, and then mango trees. He made loud noises. Now I was very scared. My heart was afraid that something had happened to him. If he was anywhere around, he would have answered me. Because of the darkness, you can't see everything clearly. After searching for an hour, when we could not find him anywhere, we returned. On the way back, I heard some movement on the mango tree. For one, it was dark. Because of this, nothing was visible. When the light of 2 or 3 torches fell there, we all were shocked to see what was seen in front of us, and we all started trembling with panic. The king was hanging upside down from the mango tree. Blood was dripping from his face and dripping on the ground. His face was drenched in blood and very frightening. His eyes were gouged out, and even more horrific was the sight of a frightened witch sitting on a mango branch tearing the flesh out of the king's throat with long nails. In the blink of an eye, she disappeared. A loud scream came out of my mouth, and I fell unconscious in panic. After a while, I regained consciousness and then came back home. My uncle supported me and brought me home. The police and Raja's family were informed, but the villagers were silent. No one was saying anything. I was sitting in a corner shivering. The king was my dear friend who had laughed till yesterday and was now found in the dust. The police came and took away Raja's body. His family members also came. They were crying a lot, but when they came to know about the witch, they were completely silent, which I found very strange. Perhaps they have realized that they cannot deal with a soul. They're all gone. My parents were also at my uncle's place. I kept wondering if it was just a coincidence or there was a direct connection between meeting that girl and going to the mango tree. I was now determined. Now I will know the truth. After the death of the king, there was silence in the village. The people of the village only said that the tree is now an omen. It is forbidden to go there at night. No one is saying anything directly. The police took Raja's body for post-mortem. But the uncle clearly said that the police would not be able to do anything. It is not a human matter. I started cursing myself inside. I had called the king to the village and I introduced him to the girl. The next morning I was completely silent. Radha came to me and said, "Bhaiya cannot be hidden anymore. I have something to tell you." I looked into her eyes with both fear and anxiety. She began to speak. Many years ago, there was a girl in our village whose full name was Neelima. She was so beautiful. She was quiet. She was about to get married, but before her marriage, she drowned in the puddle. I said, "Is she dead?" Radha bowed her head and started telling further. It is said that her soul still wanders around the puddle forest and mango tree. She likes the people who talk to her. Let's care about him. But to those who make fun of him, she doesn't quit. I got goosebumps. That is, the girl I thought was alive was not alive. I was speaking to her soul. I was meeting her. I mustered courage. I want to see her again. Radha said, "If you really want to go, then first meet Baba Sham Sundar. Only he can tell you something." Baba Sham Sundar lived in an old temple outside the village. His beard was white, his eyes were deep and bright. They used to walk with sticks, but his face was full of brilliance. I reached out to him and told him everything. Girl, puddle, forest, and he told me all about the king's death. He stared at me for a long time. Then he said, "You've seen her?" I told him, "Yes, Baba." He smiled and told me her name was Sheila. I was stunned. I said, "Yes, Baba." Baba took a deep breath and said, "She is not a girl, son. She is an incomplete soul." The richest man in the village used to have a girl named Sheila. She was very beautiful, but she was just as calm. Since childhood, she loved ponds, forest, and sitting alone. She used to say that trees, plants, water, and air are my friends. My uncle paused for a while and then said, "The marriage was arranged with an elderly Thakur." Sheila cried a lot, but no one agreed. She disappeared a day before the wedding, and when searched, her body was found floating in the puddle. I closed my eyes. Everything was connecting. The pond, the forest, the mango tree, and that girl. But since then, every young boy who went alone to that mango tree either went mad or never returned. The maternal uncle said, Her soul still wanders. She looks for someone who truly loves her or takes revenge on someone who rejects her. That is what it is about. The story spreads, but the reality is something else. She knows all the truth. I asked, but why do you still see her? Because her soul did not find peace. She still wants to. Some understand him, some accept him. All his desires are unfulfilled, which he still wants to accomplish. But if someone rejects her love or makes fun of her, she becomes a threat. It takes his life. Then she would not have left the human being, as if she had taken the life of the king. My hands were dry. I said, Baba, what should I do now? Baba looked me in the eye and said, if you want to know the truth, then meet him once again at night near the mango tree, but alone and with a sincere heart. But remember, if his face changes, run away. Don't look back. I returned home. It was late at night. The moonlight was spreading. The shade of the mango tree looked long and frightening. I prepared myself without telling Mama. He took a flashlight, a basil garland, and walked away with a trembling heart. It was exactly 12 in the night when I reached under the mango tree. There was silence all around. A cold wind was blowing. My heartbeat was in my ears. At that very moment, a voice came from behind. You came again. I flipped. She was there. But today's his face was a little sad. He asked, why do you come to me? I said, I want to know who you really are. She remained silent. Then she smiled and said, when you know, you will be able to stay with me. Before I could say anything, she stepped up to me and looked at me and said, are you afraid of me? I said in a trembling voice, no. She came closer and said, listen, I was the only daughter of my rich father Kashi. They had arranged my marriage to a middle-aged man against my will. I was in love with another boy, Rajan. I was very opposed to marriage, but they did not agree. I eloped with Rajan on the night of the wedding, but near the station, my cousin Samir, along with his cousin Raja, strangled me to death and dumped my body in the step well. Rajan was threatened and driven away. In this way, Samir became the heir to my property. One day he killed my parents. In this way, I was killed innocently. My parents also went. I have nothing. I have punished the king. I am to Samir, I have already killed you. My desire to get married was left unfulfilled. It will be complete by marrying you. I shuddered when I heard his words. He brought his face very close to mine. Even if I am not what I see, you like me, don't you? No answer escaped my lips because I could never forget what I had seen in the king's death. She was right in front of me now. Her eyes were no longer the same. Deep black and empty. Empty kya? Her face slowly changed. First his smile disappeared, then the lips began to dry. It's like you're glued. The skin on the cheeks began to shrink. Instead of eyes, black pits emerged. Her wavy hair was now like tangled thick black ropes. It was like my heart stopped. Still not afraid of me? His voice was no longer as sweet and melodious as before. It resounded as if it had come out of a cave. I remembered what Baba said. If his face changes, run away without looking back. I immediately set the race. The rattle of leaves ran through the trees as I pierced my chest. My rapid breathing was like that of a train. It was like speed, and his echoing voice from behind was following me. Nitish, you came to meet me. Why are you running away now? Think you won't survive like this? I didn't look back, just kept running. By the time I got home, I was in a bad shape. The body was trembling. It was as if the breath was stuck in the throat. When I knocked at the door, Radha opened it. She asked nervously, Bhai, what happened? I was covered in sweat and dust, just sat there. That night, I sat locked in my room. But as soon as I closed my eyes, I heard the same face. My eyes were in front of me. The next morning, my uncle came to me and said, Son, it seems that you have joined him now. She won't leave you like that anymore. I said, trembling, Mama, she's now coming in my dreams. I can't sleep. I see her in the mirror too. Mama looked at me. So now you are completely connected to him. Leave this village. But son, who once looks into his eyes can never escape his shadow again. At night, I was alone in my room. Every shadow looked frightening. I looked in the mirror. There was the same shadow behind. I turned around and there was no one there. But then a cold wind came. The door of the room opened itself and she was standing across it. She had that beautiful face again, those quiet smiles, the same eyes that I saw for the first time on the puddle. But then I thought her as a girl. Now I wanted to get rid of him. What is the connection between man and spirit? In the midst of such circumstances, I got engaged and the wedding date also came closer. As decided, the engagement took place at the hotel. Now the wedding was to take place in my house. Both my maternal uncles, their children, relatives had come. Wedding atmosphere at home was there. The fragrance of flowers was spread. Wedding songs were being sung to the beat of the drum, and the women in the room were laughing and laughing. Every corner was smelling. Mama put his hand on his shoulder and smiled and said, "Come on, Nitish, now you are also going to be a family." It was as if my mom had dreamed. A girl like Ritika is not found in the city. The son should be taken care of. Grandma was silent, but her eyes said something else, something that was beyond my comprehension. The haldi ritual was going on. All the women in yellow saris were engrossed in the tunes of songs. Suddenly my eyes were on the corner of the courtyard. Gone. There was a girl in a blue sari. She bowed her head with numbness in her eyes. Her face was not clearly visible, but it was strangely familiar. I asked my aunt, "Auntie, who is this blue sari?" Mummy looked around in shock. "Who? Where? There is no one here." I froze. In the evening, my uncle's friends came. In the wedding of Chote Sarkar on the dholak, ek noor mast tha. Ritika came dressed up and blushed when she saw me. The women of the house were singing. I am living that moment, but my eyes would go again and again to the same corner where she was standing in the blue sari. She was silent and she was very sad. Now I am also married. The first night of marriage has arrived, which probably every boy and girl is eagerly waiting for. My eyes were heavy with sleep, but my heart was strangely restless. Saji Dhaji was sitting next to me with a smiling Ritika. But then she suddenly bowed her head and said softly, "You know, I never died." I shuddered and asked, "What are you saying?" She raised her head. Her eyes were not the same as Ritika's. She spoke in a very cold voice. "I forgot all the people who died, but now I am back." And that's when I saw it blow my mind. Ritika was standing near the door. How can this be? Ritika was sitting next to me. If Ritika is standing at the door, she was sitting next to me. Who was that girl? I swooped down and turned on the light, and there was no one in front of me. Ritika and Mami were standing at the door. My aunt asked me, "What happened, Nitish? Why are you so scared?" I gasped, "Who was inside?" Ritika said, "You were alone inside. My mom just sent me out." Mami asked softly, "Was she wearing a blue sari?" I nodded my head. Mummy's color of the face faded. In the morning, my grandma called me. She was very scared. She said, "Nitish, that girl no longer lives just under a tree. It's starting to come into people now. She died on the day of her wedding. That is why she comes on every happy occasion and asks for her rights. She was about to get married but was murdered. Now her longing was unfulfilled. Therefore she hinders someone's love marriage. They are haunting. The happiness of a bride is not seen by her." The first night after the wedding was special. Ritika, silently in the veil, sat down. The room was decorated with flowers. Medium lights were on. I slowly moved nearer. There was silence in the room and a sobbing sound came from behind the veil. "I have arrived, Nitish." I shuddered because it was not Ritika's, it was Sheila's. Immediately after that, all the lights in the room suddenly started blinking, and in an instant, everything was extinguished. Now there was only the smell of incense sticks and the sound.
My heart beat in the room. I quickly turned on the torch of the mobile and saw that Ritika was not on the bed. She was standing in front of her. Both of his hands were upside down. The hair was disheveled and the appearance was so scary and horrible that a scream came out of my mouth. His eyes were as dark and deep as pits. "Why did you bring this into your life?" I told him I wouldn't be back. I tried to step back, but the door closed automatically. She slowly came towards me. The temperature of the room dropped with every step. Sweat started trickling down my face. She came very close to me and looked into my eyes and said, "I am in Ritika's body, but the soul is mine. This body is mine now. There will be no honeymoon on the first night. It will be the night of the murder. Now you will go with me." I screamed in panic, but no one listened. Sheila, who was present in Ritika's body, started saying in a frightening voice, How am I going to leave you like this? My soul is incomplete. Ritika fell unconscious on the ground, but as soon as he fell, his body stiffened. Her body rose into the air and sat upright on the bed. Her eyes opened and she was Sheila again. Mummy felt something strange in the room and she came upstairs, and as soon as she opened the door, the puja plate lit up automatically. The plate fell from Mummy's hand. Sheila's eyes turned to her mother and suddenly she screamed fiercely and crashed into the wall. A smoke-like shadow came out of Ritika's body and stood in front of her. It was Sheila. Now his soul was clearly visible. Half of his face was burned. The hair was spread to the mouth. There were wounds all over the body and the eyes were as deep as a lake. But they had smoke instead of eyelids. She growled and said, "You loved me, Nitesh. So why did you do all this? Why tormented me? Why did you break my trust? Why did I leave that night when I needed you the most?" I giggled. "I didn't do anything, Sheila. I don't know what happened to you." She said with a terrible laugh, "Now you will know, because now you will live in the same pain as I lived as a living corpse." Mummy had called Ritika's grandmother. They sent a tantric. His name was Trilochan Baba. He had garlands, black threads and the sound of mantras in his hand. As soon as he set foot on the door frame, Sheila's spirit let out a terrible scream and stood up in agony like lightning. Baba's mercury rose as soon as he came in front of him. They recognized his power. Baba shouted in an angry voice, "Who are you? Have you held Ritika's body hostage? You must leave his body or you will not be liberated." Sheila's soul trembled. She said, "It won't be easy." He said as he came out of Ritika's body, "My death was not easy. Everyone will have to pay the punishment for this." And then she disappeared. There was just a horrible stench in the room. After that day, Ritika was in fever for several days. She was right, but something still seemed strange. Like she would speak in her sleep. Sometimes she would call my name. Sometimes she would talk like Sheila. I knew now it wasn't over. Now I find Sheila's soul in peace. It has to be given. Everything was normal during the day. At night, the same shadow roamed the house. 7 days had passed since the wedding. During the day, Ritika would smile with everyone, cook, meet people. But at night, he was never completely silent. Sometimes she would suddenly cry, and sometimes she would turn on the bed and say, "Nitesh, I had said that this is my place." I fully understood now. Sheila's soul isn't just wandering. She wants to make Ritika's body its permanent place. Baba Trilochan showed a way. For Sheila's liberation, one has to do what was taken away from her. Was taken. The night Sheila was killed. You have to return to that dream. Baba advised us to walk at night under the same mango tree where Sheila was last seen. One day I took Ritika back to my aunt's house in the same village. My mom was very happy to see us. But seeing Ritika's condition, she was also very upset. I didn't tell them much at the moment. That's all, he said. Ritika wanted to come home. He's also not feeling well. That's why I brought him here. At night, I reached quietly under the dried mango tree with Ritika and Baba. The moon. It was the night of the eclipse. There was a strange silence all around. Baba pulled a circle from lemon Hanuman armor and ashes round and made Ritika sit in the middle. I put my hand on her head and said, "Sheila, I know you've been wronged, but this body is no longer yours. We were incomplete in this birth, but wait until the next birth." Then Ritika's eyes suddenly turned. She screamed loudly, "I wanted you, but you left me. You won't be able to stay apart from me. Now you will go with me." Her form began to become formidable. She lunged at me and grabbed me in the throat. She began to press with both hands. I felt suffocated. Baba started reciting the mantra aloud, but his grip was not yet loosened. I was about to breathe when Baba recited a mantra and threw it on Ritika that Ritika's body started trembling. She choked me. Baba continued to beat mustard by reciting his mantra. Now Ritika started vomiting blood. Then I said, "Sheila, listen to me." I came forward, holding Ritika's head. "Sheila, I don't know what happened to you, but if I had a part in your death, then today this blood is mine." I cut my palm and drops of blood started falling on the mango root. I told him that if your soul wants my punishment, then take it, but leave Ritika. Don't snatch her. Ritika calmed down. Slowly white smoke came out of her mouth, which waved in the air and came out in the form of Sheila. She was not like that anymore. Her face was calm. No numbness in the eyes. It was just comforting. I wish you had listened to me that day. Nitish, you would not have run away. He listened to me the whole thing. But it's not too late. I am leaving. Maybe I'll see you again in my next life. Sheila's spirit emerged. Then a flower grew on the dry branches of the mango tree. After that day, Ritika recovered completely. There was no stranger in her eyes anymore. People in the village say that the mango tree, which had not borne any fruit for years, now grows sweet mangoes every year. And now every year I pluck from that tree and offer it to the mango temple. I have never had any problem since then. I inquired from my aunt who Samir and Kashi were in their village. So Mummy told that Kashi was the richest man here. His only daughter was Sheila. Everyone used to say Sheila. After Sheila's death, Kashi and his wife Rupali died in an accident. After that, his nephew Samir became the owner of his wealth. But one day, Samir hanged himself in his room. He has a wife and a son. Within a few days, his son also became disabled. He fell from the roof and suffered a spinal cord injury, which rendered him unable to sit up. All the wealth of the Thakurs were sold in his treatment and he is still undergoing treatment. When I told the real story, Mummy was stunned. Gradually, the villagers also got everything done. Got to know. Now people started saying that a lot of bad things had happened to Sheila. After this, I started living with my family in Morena and till date there has been no problem. But when we remember the things of the past, there is still a dread in the mind. So friends, this was our story today. How did you like the story? Please do tell me by commenting in the comment box. And also, those who haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe to the channel. Take care of yourself and your family. I'll meet you soon with a new story. Thank you.